Hi, welcome back to Dr. Vasu's lectures. In continuation of C, we are going to see the data input in how the data is to be given to the system when it asks or when required. Okay, let us see. So input-output functions. In the previous videos, we have seen the output and didn't focus much on input. We haven't focused at all, and we are going to see how the input is basically. So input, coming to the input-output functions, they come in two varieties. One is formatted and another one is unformatted. Let us see what it is. In a what required format, in the required way, if we get it, we call it as formatted. If it is in the if we don't have any say, then we can call it as unformatted. Let us see how it is. Formatted input-output functions can be used for numbers, right? Printf, scanf for these basic functions we will be using. Coming to the unformatted input-output functions, they are used for characters, strings, and files. Okay. Examples are getchar, putchar, char. Is I getchar, putchar, gets, puts, all these. We'll see all these in detail. Just for the time being, let us see. These are unformatted input-output functions. Now, coming to this formatted, printf and scanf for the basic things which are used. Examples, to declare, suppose a is declared as an integer. Scanf, you say %i and a. When you say this, a is read, the value which you are entering in the system is read by the system, and it is an integer and it is assigned to a. Right? So because it is integer, we have to write %i to assign that value to a. Similarly, suppose if we want to input a character and if we want to assign a character to b, then %c is used. In the scanf function, closed brackets are used and two quotes are used here. And in these two quotes, %c is written, and of course, comma. Here a comma is missing. Comma should be there, comma, and beyond that, whatever you write, this value is assigned, and this is the type of variable you are taking. So a character is read by the system and is assigned to the variable b. Similarly, a floating value, float data type, is read by the system and is assigned to the value c, and it is a float type. So these are the basic things which we have to remember in inputting the data. So scanf is to input the data. Suppose I want to input two elements at a time. The same thing we follow. Integers 2 or a and d are declared as integers, and a is a must. And a we have to give and a here and b and symbol ampersand a ampersand b. And here, because you are taking two values, these values are integers, %i is used within the quotes here. So within these quotes, when you use %i, two integer values are input and they are assigned in an order to a first, second value to d. Similarly, suppose I have taken, I want to input 5 variables, right? Like two integers, a and b are integers, p is a character, d and e are floats. I want to input these values. So I can use directly one scanf statement and two integers first, a and b. A and b are given here. So these two are integers. So %i 2 times is used. Next one, third is a p and ampersand p. P is a character. So %c is used. Next two characters are d and e, they are floats. So d and e are floats, they are indicated as %f. So in just one statement, you can read all the 5 values. For that matter, you can read any number of variables into the system and can assign to the required variables. So, like, share, and comment Dr. Vasu's lectures. And if you like these videos, please subscribe and listen to all the videos. I have designed all these lectures in a simple way, simple understanding, very easy, and you can learn them by just seeing these videos. Okay, thank you. Next. So let us see some examples how this input data occurs. So I have declared n as an integer, and I just because I want to know whether when to give the value. So for that we have used a printf statement. This printf statement gives you displays on the system enter an integer. So because we have used a new line character here, it asks the value in the next line. You can see that. So next is scanf. Whatever the value you have entered here is read by the system, and it is in the form of an integer because we want to read an integer %i, and ampersand n means this value whichever you are entering is assigned to n. Okay, so let us close this, and of course after reading the value, it is showing whether what the value you have entered. So you entered a printf statement, n value I want to display here. So let us see, let us compile this and execute and see the output. So see the output, it asks enter an integer. I have entered a value 10, right? Because we have this new line character, this output, this value has come in the second line. Next. It is saying that you entered value 10 here, right? So that's how we read the values, that input the values, or system reads the values like this. So let us see some more examples. Suppose I have taken a float, n is declared as a float here, and enter the value of a float, and n %f4. Here you must be careful because this is declared as a float, %f should be used, and you entered this value. I want to display this value. So if you see that, enter a floating value, it is asking, right? 2.56 we have entered, responded. We have given that value. It displays, you entered 2.56, and we know that after decimal place, it displays 6 decimal places. So because it is a floating value, it shows 6 decimal places. So you must be take care whatever the way you want the output. So suppose if I enter this value, if I say 0.3f, 0.3f means I want only 3 digits after the decimal place. Let us see how the output will be. Enter a floating value. I have entered 2.56789, right? 5 decimal places are there. But if you see, you entered only, I want only 3 decimal places. That's why it is showing only 3 decimal places. It is rounding off the 3rd decimal place because this is more than 5. This 8 is bigger than 5. This 7 becomes 8, and 5, 6, 8 are displayed. Like this, the output will be displayed. Next, suppose I want to read a character. I have declared a character as ch1. ch1 is a variable, and it is declared as a character. That means it can read only 1 letter. So enter a character. It is asking scanf. In the scanf, %c is used because this character, this is declared as character. So %c. Ampersand ch1. The name of this variable is given, and ampersand symbol. Next, display it. Printf, you entered this value, ch1 is to be displayed here, right? ch1 value. Now, if you run the program, it asks enter a character first. So I have entered small letter D. You entered D. So it displays, once you enter D and press enter, it immediately shows you entered D, this value. So that's how your you can input in integer, variable, floating value, or a character. Suppose if I run the same program again, right? It asks, enter a character, it is asking. I input, I press capital R. So it is saying you entered capital R. So that's how the display will be, the reading of the data by the system. Coming to the unformatted system, it basically are used for some functions, and these functions are for character, string, file type. Let us see what are they. If you take the character, right, it is a single character only, right? It reads in the single character, single letter. It may be a number or a symbol. Getchar is used to read the data, to read one character. Putchar is to display the one character. If you use putchar, right, it displays one character, right? Suppose I want to read this one character. So getchar is given. Getchar is the function I am using. Whatever the value you are giving, it is assigned to character 1. This is the variable. And putchar is one. Putchar, and within brackets I have written this variable. So whatever the value of this character 1, that is displayed by this putchar character. So that's how the display functions. Let us see how it works. I'm using declared ch1 as character type variable. Enter a character. It is asking for enter a character. This value getchar activates to read the data which you are entering. So this function is activated. Once you input the value, this value is given to assigned to ch1 variable. So ch1 will be carrying that value which you are entering. Next, putchar ch1. I say putchar, this value whatever it is carrying must be displayed. So once if you write this, execute, it is asking enter a character. I have entered a character A, right? A small letter A. This putchar displays the same value here, right? I haven't written anything, right? This is the value or something like, I haven't written anything. That's why it just displays that value with the help of this function putchar. So it displays the character A. Next. If you run the program again, and if you enter a character, right? This, even though it is a number, it is taken as a character, and 4 is I have entered 4. So putchar displays this value 4, right? Next. Suppose I'm using the same ch1 as character, and getchar is equal to ch1. And now I want to, earlier it is just showing a letter, that's all. But I want to display what it is actually. So you have to write something. For that I am using printf. So printf is used, you entered. Next, putchar ch1. Let us see what happens. So once you write this, it is asking for the input, enter a character, you input a value, V, capital V is entered. Now you entered, right? It prints you entered, and also immediately it activates this putchar function and gives out this value V. So you entered capital V. That's how you get the information. So, right. So that's how we input the characters. Next comes, in this unformatted, we have seen 3 types. Next, let us see a string, how a string is input. Coming to the string, gets is used. Actually, if you want to remember, you can remember like this: get string, S for string, get string. Earlier it is getchar, a character. This is string. Because it is a string, you can just remember it as get, yes, get a string. So this is used to read a string. Puts, put a string, that is a display or print a string. So this is to read, this is to display. Right? Gets, string name can be given, that is whatever the value you are entering, it is read by the system. This gets as a gets function and assign it to string name, right? Whatever the string name you are writing. Puts string name, whatever the value of this string name, you have here, that is displayed as output. So another way is character char, a string str120. That means to a maximum of this is called an array actually, and let us see all those details later. But for the time being, to enter a string in the sense, it is nothing but a number of characters put side by side. So these number of characters, a maximum of 20 number of characters can be read and can be assigned to this string 1, str1. Okay, let us see all this clearly. Let us see. Suppose I have declared a string str1 20, right? That means it can read a maximum of 20 characters and assign this to str1. Now, printf, enter a line of text. Earlier, we have just entered only character, one character. You can write a sentence here, a line, and gets str1. So gets str1, it reads the data and assign it to str1. Next, puts, it displays. Whatever is assigned to str1 is displayed with the help of put string. So let us see how it works. Compile this and execute. You get, and it asks, enter a line of text. You enter a line. This is a testing line I have entered. It displays with the help of this puts string. This value is assigned to the variable str1 and it is displayed here with the help of this function. So that's why whatever you have entered is displayed here. Clear? Next. Coming to the input-output functions, you can classify them into the numbers, right? Numbers in integers and all the float, all this. For that, we use printf and scanf functions. To read characters, we use getchar, putchar functions. To read strings or to display strings, get string, put string, gets, puts, okay? And the string name here gets some name variable, puts some name variable here. And character, it is declared as an array. We'll understand all this. An array is nothing but this is having a letters of 50 in length. So this name is a variable array name, and it has it can read a maximum of 50. In this, using this array, it can be used up to 50. Now, fscanf for file functions, fprintf for file functions here. So these are all about the input output functions, and we have seen how to put them to use. Okay. Next, in the next video, we'll come up with the variables and constants. So if you like these videos, please subscribe to Dr. Vasu's lectures and please listen to all the videos and you'll understand them very clearly. Thank you.